Welcome to Policy and Profit, the podcast for ambitious insurance agents and agency owners who want to build predictable, profitable businesses without chasing bad leads or begging for referrals. So, did you know that the average insurance agent makes less than $52,000 per year and over 90% give up in their first year? The top 1% doing anything with their license of note are making 5 to 10 times as much selling the exact same policies, earning anywhere between $150,000 or $500,000 a year, and it's not luck, it's leverage. The secret is they are following a system to generate fresh, hot leads, book appointments, and close policies like clockwork. I've put together a no-cost blueprint just for that system that shows you how to add an additional $5,000 to $15,000 in monthly recurring revenue in under 90 days that you can access for free. Just go to writemorepolicies.com/blueprint or click the link in the description. Today's guest is Barbara Sarti, and she is the Infinite Banking Queen who helps you avoid financial ruin while protecting, growing, and building your wealth. So, Barbara, welcome to the show. Tell me something you believe is the key to succeeding in insurance sales that most agents completely overlook.
Consistency and grit and yeah, consistency and grit really.
Talk about
It
that
takes
consistency and grit. Obviously, you're a woman, and this I've heard this so many times that this is a man's world and all this in the industry, but yet all the people I've met in the last year who are really killing it, what's so interesting is a lot of them are female agency owners.
yeah, yeah.
So
I
talk
mean,
about
I
that
do believe,
consistency and grit.
yeah, so it's really sticking with whatever system you do choose to work with, right? Because there are tons of options, tons of ways to go about this business, which is really great. It gives you a lot of, a lot of room to play around with and grow. So it's just really sticking to whatever it is that you decide to go with and go all in, go full force. And the grit part is whenever things get rough, you've got to be
Because they
rougher.
will.
Because they will, yes, and you just got to be stronger, and you just got to, it's a mental game, really, more than anything. And so, really working on that mindset and keeping that in the forefront of, what your vision is, what your goals are.
Absolutely. And Barbara, can you just share with us, like, what's a moment in your life that you felt gave you the grit needed to get the job done consistently? What would that be for you?
Um, Man, so many moments in life, bring that, but I would say, my vision for becoming a real estate investor, right? Um, when we were looking for the property that we wanted, we were just getting, one thing after another happening that just wasn't going our way. But for me, the moment is like when I put myself and envisioned what it was that I wanted out of life, that when we were putting offers in this property and things were just not working out. um and
What
I
was
just
going wrong
thought,
with it? Can you give us some of the details?
so yeah, so we were putting offers and they were falling through. The um so there was issues with getting financing for certain properties because of the issues the properties had. It was just too much. We didn't have the financing for it, and so we just kept running into this problem. And then I was ready to give up because I was just thinking, okay, maybe this isn't the way to go. Maybe we need to figure something else out. And then in my mind, I just thought, okay, where do I want to be? Like, I envisioned my life. I really took time to break it down, and I said, no, this is the direction I want. And so I was able to pull out from myself the strength to just keep moving forward, even though we were losing money on offers we were making, because we had to get the inspections done. And once we got the inspections done and spent the money, then things would come up and we weren't able to get the financing. So we just kept going, and it took us about a year to actually get the property, and it ended up being the best property for us, at the end of the day. So that, I mean, I've had many moments, but that was a moment that for me kind of just shifted things, where I said, okay, we can do this, and I can really make this vision a reality, more than I ever thought. And now we're here and we're doing two properties, and we're, so it's building the momentum. And so that, yeah, just that year, just having one thing after another and not working out, um, made me question things until I decided, you know what, this is where we're going, and I didn't stop. So,
It's something Brian Tracy says. He says the any time we set out for something great, it's like life puts blinders on us. That way we, because if you knew all the shit that was gonna happen,
oh
you
my
would never
gosh,
do it.
yes,
You would never do it.
exactly,
It's so
exactly,
funny.
yeah, no, 100%.
Like
Yeah, and
if you
there's
knew
always
someone was gonna
something.
break your heart, you're like, I'm not getting in that relationship then.
A
Come on. So
hundred
it's
percent, exactly.
well, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. You know, Barbara, something I know you're really passionate about is this whole idea of how to kind of leverage a specific type of insurance policy and kind of maximize, like leveraging it to spend the same dollar twice and create generational wealth. I know it's something you've used in your personal, like real estate investing. So
Hmm.
I know you're trying to like merge those two worlds, and one of your goals is to kind of become a hard money private lender in this. So talk more about that.
Yeah, so I became passionate about infinite banking in about 2018.
And just for anyone who's not aware of infinite banking, explain what that is real quick.
Okay, so these are specialized policies that are structured for a high cash value and minimum death benefit. And this allows you to basically compound interest without any interruption and use it as a savings account. So it's like a savings account on steroids because we don't call it an investment. It allows you to earn interest, guaranteed interest, a minimum guaranteed interest plus dividends, and you're able to use your money at the same time as it's earning that interest because instead of using that money, you take a loan against it, and then you're able to use it in other places, whether it's to build a business or to buy property or pay off debt, even. So it can really function in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and that's really good. You said two things right here. We're not calling it investment for all you TikTok people out there. Just come invest in this and we'll just give you $1 million. That's not how these policies work, my dear
No.
friend. So quit spreading your propaganda. And two, you mentioned taking loans against it. And I know Dave Ramsey has told all of you debt is terrible. But listen, this is a thing known in the world as positive arbitrage. If you borrow money at 6%, but you put it in a vehicle that gets you 12%, you net 6% difference on that money. And here's the really cool thing, you cannot tax debt. So people wonder, Mason, why do you borrow money all the time? Why would I go spend earned income? I'd have to have
Yeah.
the financial literacy of a 4-year-old to go blow money on a damn debit card. So
Hmm.
I'm not even going to get into that because it's just the
Yeah.
TikTok agents. So go more into this. Like, why is it? Why do you not call it an investment for one? Because that's something when I see agents come on here, they get licensed, and the first thing they try to sell is these policies after they have no clue what they do. They raise the cost of insurance to the roof and keep the cash value low because that's what pays them the most. If you guys
Yep.
have an infinite banking policy, call Barbara at the end of this and get her to review it because 9 times out of 10, the agent screwed you. So tell me more about
Yep.
that, Barbara.
Yeah, no, I've seen that a lot, where people have policies that were set up supposed to be with cash value, right? And there was minimum cash value, high death benefit, because as agents, we make our money off of that, the insurance part. That's where we make the highest commissions. And so the way I like to structure them is for the benefit of the client, where it is max cash value and the least death benefit. And of course, if you have specific needs, we can play around with the death benefit to give you what you need in that sense of insurance and get you that cash value as well. But we do different things to layer it and give you the best plan for you and your goals, right? Um, so yeah, definitely you've got to be careful who you work with. I mean, there's people who they're not necessarily trying to harm you, they just don't know better. And so if you don't know better, you can't do better. Because I have people who their friends set them up and people that they trust and they're like, how they're not going to do that to me. But it's really that they don't know and have the knowledge, right?
Yeah.
So I usually don't try to like criticize or look down on any agent that does it because I just think okay maybe they don't know better, right? So we're just gonna leave it at that in that sense. So
Some of
yeah,
them don't.
mm?
Some of them don't. A lot of them do. So
No,
I'll
some of
criticize the
them
ones
don't,
that do.
100%. But if someone comes to me and they're like, "Oh, my friend set me up with this policy," I just say, "Well, they probably don't know because this is something that isn't very well known out there, right?" And some people will just set up whatever they've been taught, and then that's it, right? And so, I see that a lot where people have these policies structured incorrectly, and that can hurt you. What you don't know can hurt you. And so if you're intending to use it for those purposes and it's set up incorrectly, you're going to find yourself in a bad position financially down the road. And that's one of the things that I do is help people avoid financial ruin by setting themselves up properly based on their goals, right? Um,
Absolutely. You sound like you have a lot of integrity just because of the fact of what you said a while ago, Barbara, that even though you get paid the most for the cost of insurance, you intentionally get the least that they need. And I think what's so
100%.
cool about these policies is if you die with a 401k and all you have is 400,000 in there, that's all the family gets is 400,000. And that's not including all the fees, taxes. If they don't have a trust, you send all of your family into probate and you say, "Hey, family, I loved you guys so much. I'm going to send all of my assets into the government's hands for a year because I loved you so much." And I know it's not your intention,
Exactly.
but you can avoid
Exactly.
all of that with something
Hmm.
like this if you take the time to be financially literate. We're in a society today where unfortunately we've been taught to value money and use people. So now every time a stranger talks to you, you think they want your money. Well, Barbara's not one of those people. Okay, so reach out to her if you have a infinite banking or an IUL or any of these rather nuanced policies because they do have fees. Everything has its shit, so to speak.
Yeah.
I've got one of these policies myself, so it's very reaffirming. It warms my soul to hear people out there like you are actually doing the right thing. Where
Yeah.
what should they really look for in one of these policies? How should they like give me a couple minutes on a breakdown on what they should really be using this specific type of policy for?
So these policies can be used to finance your business, cars, right? You can finance and to get out of debt, to pay off basically your mortgage, credit card debt, car loans, student loans, right? All of those things can be and it's not it's you basically funnel the money in there and then pay from there, and so it's just a way of rerouting your money so you're not really spending more than you already spend to do this. You're just rerouting your money, right? So you can use it for investing. Um, Personally, I like to use it for investing in real estate, right? That's like my passion, but really for any business venture, right? Disney World was started with one of these policies. McDonald's, Ray Kroc, he used one of these policies as well to, start what we know as McDonald's. And then we've got the Rockefellers who still use this type of method. They use the waterfall method, but basically they do this and have all their policies in a trust, and their whole family is just set for life because it generationally builds and passes down tax free. And so there's, it really, there's so many ways you can use this, but those are just a few.
Well, that's beautiful. And what you said, tax free in today's world where hang on, I took a picture of this at a store the other day because
Hmm.
I I don't even pay attention to this stuff when you really go out, but I saw a gallon of milk that was $7. And I
Hmm.
was like, fortunately, I can go out there and send an email to my list and make money whenever I want. Granted that I don't burn the goodwill of my email list out, but I understand
Hmm.
not everyone has that privilege. And for most of you out there, I know that you're bothered by the prices of eggs and things, and a lot of you let dollars decide for you. And if you don't start doing something like this, surround yourself with people like Barbara who are financially literate. You don't have to be smart if all your friends are smart because they'll tell you what to do. So
Yes.
uh, that's I just know it's hard for a lot of you out there. So surround yourself with people like Barbara, myself. Just get around people. Find yourself a good CPA. If your CPA is not asking you every day, Like, hey, what can we do to minimize your taxable responsibilities? If they're not out there doing that, get yourself a new CPA, because someone who just wants your, granted, any CPA will save you some money, but find the ones that are actively trying to avoid, not evade, that's illegal, but avoid
Yes.
taxes. It is,
Yeah.
if you overpay in taxes, if you get a refund, congratulations, you loaned the United States government money for free. And that's just not what we should be doing. So this has been really valuable for the agents and agency owners listening, any customers listening who want to learn more about what you do. Barbara, tell us who's a good fit to work with you and how they can get in touch.
Yeah. So, people who are interested in financial literacy and people who are interested in generational wealth and leaving their family better off than, than their past
Better off
generations
than you
left them.
found them.
Yes, better off than you found them, exactly. And I really love working with business owners, investors, real estate investors, hard money lenders, just because I feel like it could take their businesses to the next level by using a vehicle like this. And the best way to get in touch with me is, well, I've got I don't know if you have my contact information, but
Yeah,
you
so I'll
can
put all
email
of your
me.
contact information down below in the description. Just send it to me
Okay,
after we get off here and I'll put it down below in the
okay,
description. But just go ahead and
okay,
say it in case you send this video out to anybody and they
okay,
just want to reach out to you immediately.
okay, perfect. Yeah. You can either email me at barbarac.req@gmail.com, or you can send a message to my number at 347-322-7880, and I'll give you a link to book on my calendar.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic. Well, we're going to wrap up here. Thank you so much, Barbara, for coming on. You crushed it, for sharing your insights on what it takes to be a successful insurance agent and how to really use these not so well known, kind of hidden vehicles, so to speak. It's one thing
Mm-hmm.
Warren Buffett talks about that I love. It doesn't matter how hard you row, it matters more what boat that you're in. So come on to me in
Yes.
Barbara's boat because we're not gonna sink. And
Yes,
don't try to cross the
exactly.
ocean in a canoe, my dear friend. You're gonna get capsized. So for those of you
Mhm.
interested in learning more about how to spend the same dollar twice and earn uninterrupted compounding interest, what Albert Einstein considered the seventh or eighth wonder of the world, reach out to
Mhm.
Barbara. And if you'd like to be a guest on Policy and Profit, we're always looking for successful insurance agents and agency owners doing at least 10K a month in commissions and have unique strategies to share. You can apply at the link down below in the description. One more time, if you want to stop chasing leads and start booking qualified appointments with people who actually want to buy insurance, grab our free booked and banked blueprint at writemorepolicies.com/blueprint or click the link down below in the description. Until next time, keep building that commission machine, my friend. Barbara, you crushed it. Fantastic job.